Okay, hi Year 8s. I'm just going to go through some of the questions on the Mathswath that I set you from booklet 8. That was all the work to do with algebra. Well done to everyone who had a go at doing that. There were some 100%, so I'm very impressed with that. And the hardest question was question 5. So this is simplify, which means collect like terms. So if we look, we've got 5xy plus 2xy. So 5xy plus 2xy is 7 lots of xy. They are just 5 of one type of term plus 2 of the same type equals 7 of it. Then if I look at my next terms, I can see this is x squared t and this is x squared t. So I've got the same terms here, like terms. I've got negative x squared t and positive 3x squared t. So I've got negative x squared t plus positive 3x squared t, which will give me, well, if you think of -1 add 3, that gives me 2. If you just think of that in your head. So minus something, add 3 of the same thing, will give me 2 of that thing. So my end answer, if I collect everything together, my end answer will be 7xy plus 2x squared t, and that's my answer. And that was the hardest question on the paper. Well done if you got that right. Right, question 9. So here I have got x times x times x, which will give me x to the power of 3, because I'm timesing them. It's not 3x, which some people thought, but it's x times x again. And y times y is y squared. Remember, y squared means y times y. Okay, here on part B, question 9, if I times the 2 with the 3, 2 times 3 will give me 6. And then I've got x times x, which is x squared, and y times y times y will give me y cubed. Okay, question 10. Right, I'm multiplying indices, and when I multiply indices, I add the powers. So I do x, 5 add 3, which will give me x to the 8. I'm still timesing here, so I add the powers. Y plus 1 will give me y to the 6. Remember, y on its own means y to the power of 1. And I can add the powers of both of these because the base is the same in each case. Here they're both y's and here they're both x's. So we're going to use the same rule for question 11. Remember, that's the power 1. So have a think about it. I'm going to add the powers. 2 add 6 add 1. 2 add 6 is 8, add 1 is 9. If you want to pause the video before I do each question to have a go yourself on Mathswath, you can add them in and see if you can get it right, and then check my answers if you get it wrong. Okay, again we're timesing. So we've got 9 times 3 will be 27. X, so I've got x times x cubed. So x to the 1 times x to the 3 is x to the 4. And y to the 4 times y to the 1 will give me y, add the powers, y to the 5. And we're timesing them all together. I don't need to write timesing in between because that means timesing if there's nothing in between. That's the shorthand. Now I'm going to go through all the questions that are on Mathswath, so you can just fast forward the video. I'm going to go through them all now, from question 13 all the way to question 28. Okay, so now I'm dividing. So if I'm dividing, think to yourself, what do you do to the powers? Well, when I'm dividing, I subtract the powers. So the powers, sorry, not divide, subtract. 8 take away 2 is 6. A lot of you might have actually put 4 there, thinking you divide the powers, but you don't, you subtract the powers. On this one, we subtract the powers. I'll get y to the 1 or just y. 5 take away 4 is 1. Right, question 14. Now I'm dividing, so I divide my numbers. 12 divided by 3 will be 4. And then I'm going to divide, I'm going to look at my indices now. So when I divide, I subtract the powers. So 5 take away 2 is 3. Okay, have a go at this one now. Pause the video. It's very similar. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. Y, I subtract the powers and I get 5. Okay, still with dividing, question 15. So this just means, remember this sign just means divide, and we know we just subtract the powers. So 7 take away 3 is 4. This sign means divide, we just subtract the powers. And y to the 1 is just y. Okay, question 16. Again, we're dividing and we've got numbers as well. And we just divide the numbers. 18 divided by 6 is 3. Right, my x's. 8 take away 4 is 4. Remember, when we're dividing, we take away the indices. Right, question 17. Most of you got this right. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. Okay, now I know lots of you struggle with expanding brackets when I gave you this to do as homework from the booklet, so I'll explain this now. What this means is 3 times everything inside the brackets. So if I do arrows, if I do different colours for this, 3 times, this means 3 times x. Well, okay, if I write that down in full, 3 times x plus 3 times 4. So it's 3 times everything inside the brackets. 3 times x is just 3x in shorthand, and 3 times 4 is just 12. And that's my answer. Okay, this is exactly the same as question 18, exactly the same method. 2 times 3x plus 2 times 7. So my answer will be 2 times 3x is 6x plus 2 times 7, 14. Okay, another one, very similar. If you pause and have a go at this one. 5 times 2x. In this case I've got a minus sign, but exactly the same method, don't worry. 5 times 1. And now if I just work those out, 5 times 2x is 10x, minus 5 times 1 is 5. Right, a bit trickier now because I've got an x outside the brackets, whereas the others you had numbers outside the brackets, but exactly the same method, no different. So let's have a go at this one. X times 3x plus x times 2. X times 3x, well x times x is x squared, and I've got a 3 there, plus 2 times x, 2x. Right, Okay, let's carry on. We've got a few more of those. So 22, 23 and 24 are all expanded brackets. So if you want to pause the video and have a go at doing that, you can do that. So we're going to have a look at all these questions now, 22 to 24 on expanding brackets. Okay, 2x times 5x. 2x times 5x. So just write it out in full. Excuse me. I'm just going to sneeze. Bless you. And 2x times, but it's a minus sign, 2x times 2. Okay, 2x times 5x is 10x squared minus 2 times 2 is 4, 4x. Next one, 4p times p minus 4p times 7, and this time it's a q. 4p times p is just 4p squared. Minus 4 times 7 is 28, and p times q, you just write it like that, you can't make it any simpler. Okay, last one on expanding brackets, 2x times 3x plus 2x times 2y equals, well, 2 times 3 is 6, x times x is x squared, plus 2 times 2 is 4, x times y is xy. If you've still got problems on that, please just email me and I'll see if I can make some more videos to explain that in more depth. Lots of students struggled with the expanding brackets. I understand why, there's lots of complicated parts of maths involved there. Okay, now the next questions, 25 to 28, at the end of maths, what is all to do with substitution. Now some of you didn't try and attempt these questions because you were struggling with the ones beforehand, but I think you might find these easier. So if you haven't done these yet, have a go first before I explain it, or just check your understanding with question 25 and then try and do the others on your own. So, and then mark it, and if you get anything, if you struggle with it, then come and listen to my video. Right, substitution, you're told the value of x. So you're told x takes the value of 6. So instead of writing x, I write 6. The 4 stays the same, so my answer is 10. And it's best to write it underneath like this, so you can just substitute instead of the x, so the x is 6, so you've got 3 times 6, which is 18. Here, your x is 6, so you've got 6 on the top, divided by 2, which is 3. The numbers that you've already got in the expression stay the same, it's just the x that you're substituting for. Okay, question 26. Right, the x now is 5. So here, instead of writing x, I'm going to write 5, and it's 5 squared, which means 5 times 5, which means is 25. Okay, here, my x is 5, so I've got 5 plus 3 squared. Work out what's inside the bracket first, 8 squared, which means 8 times 8, which is 64. Okay, have a go at these. You should hopefully understand these now. Okay, A is 7 and B is 2. So A is 7 and B is 2. Okay, again, A is 7, so sub that in, and B is 2. Working down the page, 2 times 7 is 14, 3 times 2 is 6, add them together, showing all your method. Really important you show method. Okay, A is 7 still and B is 2, you're told that at the beginning. 2 times 7 is 14, 14 times 2 is 28. Okay, A is still 7 and B is still 2. Take them away, work out inside the brackets first and square. 5 squared 5 times 5, 25. Right, well done. We're on to the last question. Well done if you carried on listening for all this time. Okay, 2a. Now a is -3, so we're going back to our negative numbers, which we did lots and lots of work on that, and you were really good at negative numbers. Right, 2 lots of -3 is -6. Remember your rules of multiplying. A positive times a negative is always a negative. A negative times a negative is always a positive. Remember those rules. Okay, a squared. That's -3 squared. Now this is a tricky one. We've got -3 times -3. And remember, a negative times a negative is a positive. So we get +9, not -9. Right, this one, 3a squared. A is -3. Now we have to work out the brackets first. Remember BIDMAS, order of operations. Brackets comes before. This means multiplication here. So we're going to work out -3. Actually, this is an indice, isn't it? -3 squared. We're going to work out the indice bit first, and then the multiplication. So indices is more powerful than multiplication. So I've got 3 lots, or -3 squared, we work that out here, is 9. So my answer is 27. What some people might have done is this. They may have worked out 3a squared. And they might have done 3 times -3 squared, which is -9 squared, which is +81. -9 times -9. This is 3a all squared. Look at the difference between 3a all squared and just 3a squared. Here you work out what's inside the brackets first, because brackets is more important than indices, and then you square. This one you work out the squaring first and then times it by 3. This one seems to always cause lots of problems, the difference between these two types of questions. Thank you for watching my video. I hope that's helped you with Mathswath Algebra from booklet 8, and I look forward to talking to you again and showing you more videos for our next topics for booklet 9. Take care and stay safe.